Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I missed the Zoom coffee break. I ended up having an appointment that I couldn't get out of.
No problem.
I'm like, oh darn! I wanted to talk about my lacy thing, my craft.
Yeah.
It was so cool when I popped the balloon.
Wasn't it fun?
Yeah, haven't had that much fun in a while.
If you want to do the holiday craft and you're not signed up, we have lots of spots open still. So if you know anybody that wants to do it.
Yep, I'm all ready for that.
All right, I'm going to, I think, share my whole screen. So did that make it so you can see my presentation? Sweet, doing good so far.
Very cool.
All right, so today, my friends, we're going to Hocking Hills, Ohio. Anybody ever been there? No?
Been to Ohio.
You've been...
My daughter just went to Columbus this past weekend for the American Girl doll store that's in Columbus.
Yeah? Awesome.
She took the little girl and they had a ball.
I bet they did. So Hocking Hills is about, I don't know, maybe like 5 miles the way the crow flies from my parents' house. But it takes over a half an hour to get there from my parents' house because you have to go all around the hills and up and down and around. And but from here, it's only about 4.5 hours. It's not a bad drive. I just did it 2 weekends ago. It was lovely. And your drive would be better than my drive was to Hocking Hills because it's kind of more of a direct route because it's on the highway through there. The way I would go from my parents' house is not on the highway. It's exciting. I don't go there often because I get car sick. And my mom laughs at me. Oops. All right, so some general information about Hocking Hills. There's a state park there, and that's what it's really pretty. There's a lot of gorges, and they're made of blackhand sandstone. There's a lot of seasonal waterfalls. So going in the spring or the fall is really nice because there's lots of waterfalls. The winter's really pretty too because some of them freeze, and so it just depends on what the weather was that year. If you go in the winter, the hikes in the winter are really awesome. It's fun to go in the woods in the winter. There's also a whole lot of awesome places to stay. There's cabins, there's campgrounds, there's tree houses. Look at those tree houses. Aren't those fun? There's also a castle. You can stay at a castle. My mom's been there. She says it's beautiful. There's gobs of things to do if you like to be outside. There's canoeing, there's horseback riding, there's regular golf and putt-putt golf. You can go on there's trails for ATVs. There's a mystery shack that's a lot like the mystery spot in the Upper Peninsula. There's some ropes courses, there's gem mining, there's a canopy tour, which is really awesome. I want to go there in the fall and check out the canopy tour. That is not the right, yeah, it is. That's also where they have a ropes course too. That's why I was confused. There's spas there, there's shopping, there's fishing. There is the Pencil Sharpener Museum. You can go check out. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, it was just pictures I looked at. Aren't those awesome pencil sharpeners? You know, those pencil sharpeners you could go see. There's the John Glenn Astronomy Park, which is very fun. These 3 links, and I'll send the PowerPoint to you if you're interested in it. You can go check them out. These are, there's lots of different places to do most of these things. So these are some websites that I found that listed a lot of places. So that's why I put those there. This one, Cedar Grove Lodging and Events, I was there for their Mother's Day brunch. It was very beautiful there, but they had a good list of things to do. There's lots of good places for food. The Old Dutch Restaurant, I highly recommend. I've been there before. It's kind of, I don't know if you've eaten at an Amish restaurant before, but that's kind of what it is. All of these places that I put on here that are links to the exact places are places that friends and family members said, put that on your list. So they're all good. Pizza Crossing is supposed to be really good pizza. This Hocking Hills Coffee Emporium. When we were there for the Mother's Day brunch, we drove by it. Well, we went there the day before to go walk in the woods. And then we went back for Mother's Day. And every time we drove by that, my mom's like, hey, there's a really good coffee there. Did I tell you that? So it turned into a big joke because she forgets what she told us. But it was a really cute little gift shop. It had all sorts of fun little gift shop like things. And it was good snackage there too. It is attached to an inn there also that you could stay at and then just walk over and get your coffee in the morning. This link also had lots of places that weren't in my list. I'm talking really fast, I'm sorry. I might have had some caffeine with my dinner. There you go. All right, so now I'm going to talk about the different trails that are in the Hocking Hills State Park because they're really cool. The first one is Ash Cave. It's about a half-mile loop. It's through a gorge lined with hemlocks and cliff walls, recessed caves, and seasonal waterfalls. That is not the one. Okay. The Ash Cave does have about half of the loop is wheelchair accessible. So if you have somebody in a wheelchair, you would just reverse and not go all the way through the loop. But I've heard it's very lovely. I've been there before, but not for a long time. These are some pictures from it. This bottom one, a friend of mine took and sent it to me, but it's the same area. The next one is Cedar Falls. It's also a half-mile loop. It's got a lot of steps. So if you don't do steps, don't go there. But there's waterfalls and bridges and some really unique rock formations there. This is what it looks like. And I like these pictures a lot because it's the same view, but one is after it rained in the spring. And one is probably in the fall, looking at the codes. So it just depends on how much water they've had lately to see how big the waterfalls are. And in the summer, this is just a trickle probably. But that's the same waterfall. The next one is Old Man's Cave, which is what the area is known for. And I never knew this, but there's apparently a ghost at Old Man's Cave of an old man. So some kids, like, it was a really long time ago, like maybe early 1900s, were having a picnic there and they had a fire and there was this old guy that just appeared with a dog and he didn't really say anything and they just kind of were like, where did you come from? And he walked away and like disappeared into the ground. So they had a group of people that went out and dug up where he disappeared and found, this is all what the legend says, just saying, found the body of a man and a dog there that had been there for a really, really long time. And so lots of people say they've seen a ghost of a man, an old man there with a really long beard. So that's why it's called Old Man's Cave. But it has some caves and waterfalls. It has a tunnel and it also has some pretty cool rock formations along the way. So that's one of the bridges. This picture in the top right is one a friend took. I pretty much begged my friends to send me pictures and information. That's the stone tunnel you can go through. The next one is Whispering Cave. It's a lot longer. It is a 5-mile loop, but there is a swinging bridge and a really pretty waterfall back there. Those are some views from the trail there. Conkle Hollow State Park, Conkle's Hollow State Park Nature Preserve. It has 2 trails, an upper trail and a lower trail. The lower trail is 3/4 of a mile and it is wheelchair accessible. The upper trail is a 2-mile loop, but it's got steps and really uneven and some drops off the side, but there is a typo. Caves and a boardwalk too. That's some views from the trail back there. Cantwell Cliffs is 2 loops also. They're each a mile. There's a lot of steps. But here's some pictures from there. Rock House is also really pretty, but it's a lot of steps. It's my mom's favorite, I think. But it's a mile loop. But look at those cool rocks you can go through. Zaleski State Forest has backpack trails galore. The Buckeye Trail goes all around Ohio, but there's a chunk of it. It's right in this area that goes through the Old Man's Cave area. And that section is 51 miles long. If you're so inclined, I am not. That's one of the rocks you would see from there. There's mountain bike trails if you're into mountain biking through the woods. These are just at another park. Note from my mom, if you go there and Old Man's Cave is really busy, go to Conkle's and Cantwell Cliffs. So you don't have to, because sometimes it does get really busy. It just depends on what time of year it is. These are pictures that I totally stole from my friends. I'm not sure which part they are. I would have to ask them. If you want to know, I'm happy to ask them. This one I know was taken not that long ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. This is from a winter hike. This is all snow. And the waterfall's still going. It's just a little trickle though. But you can climb back in around the cliffs and stuff. It's really fun. These are all people up here along the bottom of the cliff. Cave. That would be a cave, wouldn't it? That's my last one. I talked really fast. So if you want to go to Hocking Hills, my advice would be go in the spring if you want to see lots of waterfalls. Go in the fall if you want to see some waterfalls and pretty leaves. They're about 2 weeks behind. So in the spring comes there about 2 weeks earlier. So when the trees get little tiny green blue buds on them here, when you go down there, it'll be spring. And then in the fall, they turn about 2 weeks before we do, week to 2 weeks. But that's when I would go because I don't like it there in the summer. The waterfalls aren't near as pretty. Anybody have any questions, thoughts? You have to unmute yourself if you do, but I'm more than happy to. Nobody?
Yeah, how far is it from like White Lake Library to drive?
4.5 hours,
Okay,
I
not too
think.
bad.
Yep, 4.5 hours. 4 hours and 35 minutes. But it's an easy, like you could go down there if you have a long weekend.
Mhm.
I mean, there's not like gobs and gobs of stuff to do, but it is really pretty. And if you like to hike in the trails,
What's the entrance fee?
I don't know that there is one. I'm going to look that up. All of the state parks in Ohio are free. And it's a state park. So there you go. But there are like gobs of cabins and stuff that you can stay in. A lot of them have like a hot tub on the porch, and they're very much they've made a good weekend tourist industry down there. Not in a totally touristy kind of way though. Although there is a place with like 50 different soft serve ice cream flavors. I didn't have it though, so I don't know if it's good soft serve or bad soft serve or